Good afternoon. Steve Wilson from Grand Junction up on Liberty Cap, and I really want to discuss openly now some things that maybe we should have put together at the first time. There are 4 specific areas of health. 1 is obviously the physical side, 2 the emotional side, 3 perhaps the most important is the spiritual side, and then the finances of your life. And we haven't addressed that in a totality, but I'd like to do that in part today to give you an idea where we're going to take this thing. In that, we all know that this is the byproduct of what we eat. What we need to understand is why we eat it. And therein, what we eat is not the problem, it's the solution to what we do. And that includes all the habits, all of those things such as pornography and alcohol and gambling. All those things are to take us away from the reality perhaps of life. Now that becomes important because as we raise your attitude about who you are, you will probably change what you do. And that is done through proper foods, not only spiritual foods, mental, emotional foods, but physical foods. And that will give you a good understanding of how you can deal with your finances. That becomes very, very important to us as a people because we're looking at 25% of our young people choosing to vape rather than understanding what that does to their brain and what it does for their future. So we have the potential of losing 25% of our young people to a horrible lifestyle. And we see it all over the country today. People that have chosen a wrong lifestyle where it brings in cardiovascular issues, cancer issues, diabetes, obesity, arthritis, all kinds of periodontal issues, only because they chose not to understand how their body works. And what is the biophysics? I'm going to alter that a little bit because the biophysics allows us to eat foods that raises our frequency in terms of attitude. And that's what I want to do, speaking specifically in the beginning part of sleep. Sleep begins your day. And it's without the proper rest, you cannot function on your job. You can't increase because the people above you will see that you're fatigued. So, to understand some of the incredible physics of the body, from right here down, you have a lymph system that's as large as the blood vessels and things of that nature. And it's designed not only to deliver nutrients to the body, but take toxins out. From here up is where we want to approach today, is there are no lymph systems in the brain, in the head. But what takes place is the most unusual of things. When you get into a REM sleep, which right now we know in America about 50% of the Americans do not get there, they can't put their little brain to sleep, but in a REM mode is when the cleaning begins. And that's really interesting because when you get into that mode, the cells of the brain shrink by 60%, allowing a fluid to pass through there and taking out all the garbage that you put in there, not only from a nutritional viewpoint of what you eat, but what you look at and your attitude, your angers, and all of those things dealing with depression onward. If we could begin to understand that and understand what makes that, it's made in the gut. These neurotransmitters are made principally from amino acids, and they're made in the gut. So if your gut is not clean, you cannot build the neurotransmitters that offsets a little thing called glutamate, which is the energizer for the brain. And what we want to do is we want to build a thing called GABA, which is an amino acid that offsets the glutamate. And these 2 elements occupy 80% of the brain's time in balancing one another out. If you understood that and then suddenly said, you mean if I actually got some GABA in my brain, I could go to sleep? And we're saying that, and there's incredible evidence. So imagine this. If you cannot get it to sleep, your brain never cleans itself. And then you just have introduced an environment where we know Alzheimer's disease lives, and now they're associating cancers with it and a host of other things. So the heart and soul of this thing to begin with is what starts this is probably what you and how you sleep. If we could get to that and give you a product, which we have, and we have named it the most incredible name. It means a new beginning. So if you could work with us and see the difference in how you perform, not only with your family, but on your job, your performance goes up because you got energy from the night before, understanding that the body cleans itself, it burns fat at night, it reconstructs tissue. All of these things take place at night. When you are designed to be cleaning, you're not letting it take place. We are so designed to purify ourselves on a daily basis. And should you not allow that to take place, all you're doing is building a great big junk pile that you carry around and call a body. We're going to do that. Steve Wilson, 970-260-1740. Thank you.